Right. Welcome back to Pine Tree State Restorations. And today we're going to talk about the Remington M887. Now, a little history about Remington. Remington started in 1816. It's the oldest gun manufacturer in America. Elias Remington started it. And this particular gun, Remington's still in business today. They went through some hard troubles, but they're still around. This particular gun was made in 2009 to 2015, 6 years. They did have a recall on it, a firing pin issue, which I think mostly was dirt. People just weren't cleaning the guns. I don't think it was really necessary. This particular gun, I'll tell you why I like this gun so much. A lot of people don't like this gun because they don't understand it and they don't clean it. They don't know how to work on it. And then they lose parts when they take it apart. We're going to get into that. First thing first, the trigger group. Okay. This thing has to be clean, like a lot of guns, has to be clean. There can't be any dirt in there. You can't leave a bunch of lead and powder and goo down in there. They have to be clean. And if you notice on the end here, you got your cartridge stops. Okay. That's what holds the cartridge from coming out of the magazine tube and lets it into the receiver. A lot of times these get bent on the end, and that's usually caused by the person that owns the gun trying to get an unjammed bullet out or gets carried away with a screwdriver or whatever, starts bending around. These things got to be, if you look at these, they have to be set right there. If you have them bent too far in or too far out, they're adjustable. You can bend them on the end. If they're not perfect, that shell won't come out and it won't load into the gun right. So you gotta really not mess with those. All right. And that's like a lot of shotguns, pump shotguns. If those get bent, even on a Mossberg 500, even though they're built into the side of the gun versus being in the trigger group, they get bent, gun won't work. So the last thing you want to do is stick a screwdriver in your gun and start prying around. Best thing to do if you get a jam is, as long as there's nothing in the chamber, is just take the barrel off and get the bullet out that way and take it apart and put it back together. It's not that hard. There are two pins that hold this into the gun. All you do is you hook this into the front, drop it in, and put the two pins in. Now, the back pin is bigger than the front pin, so don't put the wrong pins in the wrong place. And you want to have it cocked. I like to have it cocked when I put it back in there like it is right now. You could push down on this and unlock that hammer. Hold your thumb over the hammer, pull the trigger, push this down. That's the trigger reset. And you can release that hammer so you can clean underneath it. You're going to blow all this out, clean it all out with a toothbrush gently, blow it out with low pressure air and WD-40. Then I like to put some synthetic oil on everything and blow it out again. Then set it aside and let it semi-dry, wipe it off, and it's ready to go back in the gun. Now, another thing that people run into trouble with this gun is they take it apart and they don't realize, once they take that barrel off, that barrel is like an 870. You take that barrel nut loose, okay, on the end, take that clamp off. This is the tactical version. The tactical version, the other guns don't have the barrel extension or the clamp on the barrel, so you wouldn't need to mess with that. But basically, you unscrew the magazine cap. That barrel comes right off just like an 870. And then you can, clean it and do whatever. If you want, you can pull this forward, pull the whole bolt assembly out. It rides on that little wagon there. It just comes right out in one piece. Everything comes out the front. You got that dust cover on there. That comes out with it. It's real easy to put back together. This gun is cool because it's got what they call armor locked on it. The gun is encased in a heavy-duty polymer so the gun won't rust. Okay? Now, it will rust where the tube is, the magazine tube, and you can get rust on your trigger group. So that's why it's important that you clean your gun after it's been out in the rain, duck hunting, whatever, that you take care of it. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. This gun is a cross between an 870 and a Benelli Supernova. They made 4 models. They made the M887 Nitro Mag Tactical, like this one is. They made the Waterfowl, the Bone Collector, and the Nitro Mag Combo. This gun feels awesome in the hand. It sits in your hand perfect. It's smooth as glass. It's got a rotary bolt, kind of like an AR-15. It's just a well thought out gun. It's got screws on the top you can take out for a rail. It's got a fiber optic front sight. And like I said, it's armor lock. I love this gun. It runs like a sewing machine all day long. And you can shoot 2 3/4, 3-inch, and 3.5-inch magnums in it. And it just runs great. It's got a super nice recoil pad. It's pretty soft. It's got sling mounts. I don't understand why people don't like this gun. I think they're crazy. Another thing I like is the front of the trigger guard has the slide release. Instead of having a stupid piece of metal by the safety like a lot of them do, they put it up front. And even wearing a big pair of gloves, you can press that button and pull the slide release. Awesome idea. Awesome. So another thing people get into trouble with, and this is a big one, is the ejector. And let me tell you what happens there. People don't realize when they take the gun apart and take the barrel off that they could lose the ejector rod, and spring. Now, this is the ejector rod. This is the ejector. Okay? Look at how that's made. See how it's got that little ear sticking out? Got the little nipple on the back? It goes in the gun like this. So that flat piece is pointing towards the front of the barrel. See how that ramps? That goes in there like that. Just like that. Okay? And then this rod goes in front of it. That rod is a stop to prevent that from going too far. Behind this is a long spring. And what happens is people take the gun apart, start blowing things around with air and everything. And let me see if I can get a good shot of this. Down inside the gun, there's a channel right here. That channel, hold on one second. That channel rides down in the receiver. Okay? So all that goes in there. It goes inside the gun. You got the spring first, the ejector, then the rod. When you take that barrel off, there's a hole going down through there where all that goes in. If you start blowing air around, you blow all the parts out the front of the gun, you'll lose them. And a lot of people have. So you want to be careful with that. You want to actually take it out. And like I said, the way it goes back in is the rod. Here's how you start. Goes into the gun this way. Spring first, ejector, rod. Then when you get everything back together, you keep the gun tipped up, you put the gun back together, the barrel on there, none of that will come out of there. Now, here's the cool part. This gun will run without an ejector. I don't have the spring. I ordered one. And that gun, I don't have the ejector in it or the rod in it. It still ejects shells because when the shell's in the bottom and you fire a shell, it lifts up and it rolls the other shell right out. Kind of nice if you're skeet shooting because you can just grab each one, put them in your bag. It'll still function without these 3 pieces. But if you want to throw your shell 5 or 6 feet, you got to have these in there. So that's another thing people had trouble with is they lose these parts and they're unobtainium. There's only one guy I know that can get you these parts, and that's CF Gun Parts in New Hampshire. He can get you anything you want for this gun. Check him out. So I like the gun. I bought this gun for $20 in a basket. And I was happy to get it. And I put it all back together. The only thing it was missing was the spring. And it was missing the barrel clamp right here, which I bought from CF Parts. It also has a sling stud on it. That was expensive. It was like $60. So I have $80 in the gun. The spring is $10. I'm going to have $90 in the gun. And I'll never get rid of it because I love the gun. It's a great gun. thing runs like a sewing machine. I mean, it's smooth as glass, runs like a top. They discontinued the gun because I think a lot of folks had trouble understanding the gun or working on the gun or losing parts or bending the cartridge stop or whatever. If you semi know what you're doing or you just take your time and maybe watch a video online, this video or somebody else's video, pay attention to what you're doing. This gun should last you a lifetime. It really should. If I find another one, like one of the other versions, I'm going to buy it because these guns are cheap to buy and they're a great gun. It's one of the best guns I own. I really, really like it. So, this is the Remington 887. They call it the Nitro mag. I kind of call it the Super mag, but it's a 887 Nitro mag. And they made it from 2009 to 2015. If you can find one, they're really, really cheap to buy. And they're really, really a good gun. And I've showed you what the issues are with these guns. Clean, your ejector, your trigger group, your cartridge stop. All these things are done correctly. You will never have an issue with this gun. This gun will never let you down. I think Remington made a really good gun here. They just got a lot of bad press from some people that really didn't understand the gun. It's a great gun. Thank you for watching Pine Tree State Restorations. We also have a Eddystone M17 World War I rifle that we're working on. There's the bolt right there for it. I got it cleaned up. I got it polished. Someone had sporterized it. We're going to put it back to original. So we're working on that right now. Probably be doing a video on that as well. Once again, the Remington 887 Nitro Mag, Pine Tree State Restorations. And I hope this helps you guys out. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like. I really appreciate it. I love doing these videos for you guys. If you got any questions, give me a shout. Be happy to answer them. Thanks again for watching Pine Tree State Restorations, and we'll see you soon.